students who rode on a bus that transported the Lowndes County High School wrestling team to a tournament in Macon, Georgia on January 10th, 2013. You will remember on that day that we lost our son Kendrick. That morning was the last time we saw him alive. The next morning, fellow students would find his body rolled up in a gym mat. Although it was ruled an accident, it is our opinion that the authorities still have not reached any logical conclusions about what happened to our child, and so we continue to grieve our loss. But since then, we have learned something that perhaps has never been shared, and it involves your children. Initially, we assumed, like many of you did, that the Lowndes High wrestling team had already left for Macon when Kendrick went missing. We were told that they were not on campus when our child disappeared from surveillance video at 1:09 that afternoon. A few months later, however, we learned that your children left campus at 4 p.m. that afternoon, nearly 3.5 hours after our son was last seen. Moreover, we found out that school officials excused your children from classes starting at 11:32 that same morning. That means that these kids were on the campus when most of us thought that they were not. And it is the reason that everybody, including the police, failed to ask crucial questions of them because they assumed that they were not there. So we called this press conference today to appeal for your help. We're asking you to talk to your children, to ask them the questions that the police did not, to find out what they know. And please share everything that you can with the U.S. Attorney's Office or our attorneys. It would mean a lot to us as we approach the second anniversary of Kendrick's death. If your children know something, saw something, or heard something, they should say something. Thank you. In connection with this press conference, we think that you should be mindful of the fact that many of the questions that surround what were the activities and the whereabouts of students have been widely misreported, one of which has to do with whether or not the wrestling team was present at the time that Kendrick went missing. In the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, as recent as 10 days ago, it appears that they have reported that the bus left that morning, when in fact we have obtained records from the school system through an open records request that has produced documentation showing that the bus did not leave that morning, but in fact left at 4 p.m. that afternoon. That contradicts not only what has been reported in the press, but even in the sheriff's official reports. In addition to that, we secured a copy of the attendance records that show that Not only did Kendrick go missing at the end of what would have been the third block, but it also shows, if you look at the highlighted in red ink circles, the times at which certain members of the wrestling team were excused from class. This, of course, means that for approximately 4.5 hours from the time that they were excused at 11:32 up until 4 o'clock, which was the departure time of the bus, their whereabouts and activities are unaccounted for. In addition, we have prepared for you a 2.5-minute video, a video that is consisting of video clips from surveillance cameras and never seen before footage of Kendrick Johnson standing in the lunch line with certain members of the wrestling team. We believe that this video clip, when shared with the parents of those 25 students, will help guide them in their inquiry, will help facilitate them asking their children, where were you and what did you know about Kendrick's death at or about the time that he went missing? At this point, we will, of course, turn things over to our media rep for any questions that you may have above and beyond what I have given you.
I just wanted to say, my name is Clennon King. I'm the PR rep for the family and for the lawyer. I just wanted...
School surveillance video captures Kendrick Johnson at lunch for what would have been his last meal on the day of his disappearance. Less than 24 hours later, his lifeless body would be found in a rolled-up gym mat, leaving lots of unanswered questions. And while more than 100 students cooperated with investigators, only 2, according to the case file, refused to talk to police. The 2 were former Lowndes High School wrestler and now 18-year-old Brandon Bell and his younger brother, a classmate of KJ's. According to a 500-plus page case file, their father is FBI agent Rick Bell, who referred investigators to his son's attorney, and he advised them not to talk to police. Those interviews may have been relevant as students told investigators Johnson and the younger Bell boy, both varsity football players, had a fight on a school bus on the way to a game the year before, suggesting a simmering feud. Still, police reached out to Agent Bell a second time about talking to his sons. His attorney stated after consulting with the father of Brandon Bell and his brother, he had advised them not to make a statement and therefore the pair would not be meeting with investigators. Meanwhile, a closer look at the attendance records of the younger Bell boy on the day of KJ's disappearance shows he was not tardy or absent. As for the older brother, Brandon Bell, student records show that he and other wrestling team members were excused from 3rd and 4th block classes in order to attend a wrestling tournament 2 hours away in Macon, Georgia. And while it's unclear when exactly the team left campus, the court-ordered release of surveillance video shows Brandon numerous times the day KJ went missing. Here, footage shows that after at least 2 class periods have elapsed, Bell is crisscrossing the hallway in front of the old gym, in the vicinity where Kendrick Johnson's body would be found the following morning. As far as the video here of KJ at lunch, we have confirmed that at least one wrestling team member who was going to that tournament is in the lunch line just ahead of KJ.